What's going on, guys? It's Shane with Blacktop Racing. I am here at the WDCR event number 3. I am here in the 2016 ND. Basically, I'm in spec ND right now, NC Street. The car is Maurice's. It is a nice car, man. He's even pimping it out with the white in the back, nice leather seats. He knows how to ball for sure. So right now, I'll go through all the nuances after I make my first run. But the biggest thing that you just have to know about this car is that it's actually on the Hankook RS4s. So is that a good tire? Hey, it has the numbers, but it has some quirks to it. So this year, you have so many tires. You have the REs, you have the Rivals 1.5s, you have the Hankooks, you have the Nexans. I mean, can we just get one tire? Something, please. But there isn't a spec class. Maybe there's going to be an actual spec class later. Who knows what tire, what suspension, and what have you that you can do. But that would be pretty cool. But this is the closest you can get right now is NC Street with the NDs. A lot of guys are running the same thing. They're running similar shocks. They're running similar alignment. They're running similar tires. I mean, everything is right within there, so it isn't too far-fetched for them. So that's pretty cool. It really kind of comes down to the driver. We even had young Garfield, along with older Garfield, campaigning their ND last year, and that was pretty much just ND City in C Street. So that was pretty cool. And also, you know, he lost just by a hair, young Garfield did, because of drying conditions is what I'll say. I mean, thousands, man, thousands. So it's crazy. There go my boy Neil. Yeah, Neil. He's camera shy, folks. Camera shy. So this is a fast course, and yeah, second gear. I'm not going to switch into third. So here we go. So traction control is off. Man, these things have short gearing. It's the RS4, so need to get them warmed up. And I'm definitely getting them warmed up for sure. A little drift there, just trying to see what the tires can do. And the tires, man, when these things are cold, it starts out with some understeer, and then as you start trying to feed it in, it just starts giving you some oversteer. So here we go. So pretty entertainment. So the car isn't bad at all. Let's slow it back down a little bit. Just trying to warm up the tires before. So it slides nice and progressively, the RS4s do. On the limiter right now, but a little tap right here to get around. The car's dynamics is really nice. I mean, one of the biggest things about the ND is really just the power that it can come out with, and that it feels good all around. So as I come in here, the limiter is nice and soft. So that was a 62.6, warming up the tires and everything. Kind of overdriving in the beginning so I can get some heat in them and just seeing what it can do. So that was an off course, so that doesn't really matter, quite honestly. You know, never worry about the first sound times. So the car feels pretty darn good. In comparison to like a NC, the car is obviously softer, so you have to play around with the balance on there. And what was happening before is that I was actually not balancing the car correctly. So the car would sway and my inputs were too fast versus the suspension. So let's go over all the stuff here. It's a 2016 Miata Club. It doesn't have a name for the car, but I'm going to call it Pikachu. Yay, Pikachu! Na, 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 na. Okay, and then he has the Advanti Storm S1 wheels, 215s, 4517s. His exhaust system is the Goodwin Racing Super Street Muffler. No intake, obviously, it's CS, so you don't need any of that. The Koni shocks is what he has, Koni yellows, with the Karcepts front bar. That's a .120. I guess that's just the diameter of it, I assume. Seats, blingin' seats, of course. His alignment is negative 1.8 camber all around with 1/16 toe all around. So right now, mod-wise, the car is done. It's fully prepped for CS. So this car coming straight out of an NC that was a little pushy this morning, I have to make sure that I actually drive this a little bit better. So I'm gonna try and sneak in here for a second. So the car is actually very nice. It can slide on these Hankooks. Again, the tires are probably nice and heated right now. They were at 28.5 when I got started, and then right now they're probably up there as far as at 30. So so they're probably at 30 right now. So we'll see how everything kind of fares out. The throttle is really nice. I mean, these cars are so nice and easy to drive. They're so light, coming at around, what, 2,200 pounds. You know, the power, it has good torque, relative, of course, you V8 guys. So it's relative that it actually scoots you out really well, so you can't just floor it like you can on the NC that has a diff, or a aftermarket diff, where you can get on it really early, and here you have to just be a little bit more careful on the throttle is all I'm trying to say. Front end so far, when the tires were a little bit cold, it pushes, and then I was trying to compensate by getting on the throttle, and then the car would just kind of be all over the place. So right now it's going to be fun to see what this can really do. I forget what any of the competitors were running, so we'll try and see if I can take a serious one here. Now, this course is actually pretty fast, so I'm actually on the limiter quite a bit. The second gear in this is pretty short, low 50s or mid 50s. So at nationals and such, it's always course dependent. A lot of guys are shifting into third. The thing is, you got to be careful, because a lot of that hard shifting, especially back down into second, you'll blow second gear. And that was the weak point for the ND. I heard it's getting better, but it still has some problem. Like, apparently they fixed something that was supposed to be better, but then something else is a little weak point. So they keep finding out things that are weaker in the transmission, and it just gets better and better each iteration of it. So right now, since it's an 06, I'm assuming then that this is that fragile transmission. So what you want to do is, if you're going to get one of these used, make sure that it's under warranty, so that way you can just go ahead and work out with the dealership trying to get a transmission. I don't know if it's a recall. I have to clarify that, and I'll probably put a little annotation here at the bottom. But the Garfields actually went in, worked out something with the dealership to get the transmission swapped out preemptively. So instead of waiting until it breaks, they just went ahead and did this right away. So no worries, no worries. So we're going to go ahead and take one more shot at this and see how it goes. But the car is comfy, and yeah, we'll see. Here we go. Little concentration. So since it's soft, rolling on the throttle a little bit. There we go. On the limiter, brake early, rolling in, lift, rolling in. On the limiter, right there, turn in, roll on the throttle, little off. Here, on the bank, adding to a lot of distance, just to keep some of the momentum going. Trying to YOLO this. Can't particularly YOLO it, but I can slide the car all the way through. Just a slight lift on the limiter, the entire way here. I'm gonna brush the brakes so that way I can slide it in. Get your car in, little brakes, little dab on and off of the throttle here. The front end is washing away a bit, and there we go. So it's 61.0, and there's more time out there. Beneficial as far as going to third. Yeah, if I was right on time with anything, or with everything. So right now that's a 61.0. SDR times was a 58, and generally the NDs are literally like a second behind, or a second and a half behind SCR, depending on the speeds. But since this speed, I'm on the limiter for so long versus like an STR car, we'll just keep on accelerating. So that's as far as what you're looking at. But right now, the ND is fun to drive. It takes a certain way to drive it. So you have to roll on the throttle to help the car turn. since it is a rear-wheel drive car. You just have to be kind of careful on how you want to get on that throttle. So if you squirt it too much, then you know, the rear end is going to come around depending on your speed because of where the meat of the torque is. So you have to kind of just keep that in mind. As far as the dynamics of the car, once you just get used to the softness of it, it's really good. These tires, I could actually slide the car quite a bit with no problem whatsoever. So when it came to the slaloms, I got a little hesitant just because my hands were moving a little too fast. The timing, I was just used to the ST car. So that's really just about getting used to the car. So a 61.0, we'll see what Mark and the other CS guys do, because they're actually going to run next in as far as how the seat is set up. That's how I'm able to drive this car. Thank you, Maurice, for letting me drive. So ND, yeah, man, this is why everybody loves these cars. You can throw all your parts on, have a good time. It's soft enough that it's going to be subtle on the street, but it's just good enough that you can just whoop some butt here on this course. This course had some of those higher speed areas, so you're hitting the limiter, especially along the back stretch, but you know, it is what it is, right? Everything else is just good. You can see everything. I mean, the A-pillar is a little bit bigger. You have the sun just beating on your head. The windshield is actually a little bit smaller than the NC's. The NC's was actually a little bit bigger as far as the windshield. And one thing that's cool and weird about this is that if you jack up the seat, actually, am I jacked up? Up. I don't even know where the controls are. But once you jack up the seat, you actually get closer and closer. Your head moves up to the top for short people. But this one actually has a little lumbar changes on the legs. What's this guy? This is just the back. Okay. So I don't know. Oh, it's as you slide it up. As you slide up, like, so you can see I'm lower here, but as I move up, it jacks me up. So keep in mind for that one. All right, guys, so that's going to be a wrap for this. I'm actually going to do another ND. So that one's obviously going to be a little bit faster because I'm getting used to driving the NDs again. And that one is actually on the rivals. If I'm not faster, that means something's up. And the Kooks are the tires to have. No, but the Kooks are good. It does have understeer in the beginning. You need to get some heat in them. If you have a double driver or a heavy car, then those tires will do well. But if you have a lighter car like this, you got to get them heated up quite a bit. And since it's getting hot out here, we're not going to take off all our clothes though, but since it's getting nice and hot, you can go ahead and run the RS4s, and then just on your first run, just get them all heated up, get them on fire, and then your next runs will be good. All right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit the like or subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for the sponsors and the Agile Auto and the Apex Junkie, and also the WDCR for letting me actually do all this stuff, which is great. So much appreciated. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later. And I'm gonna cut to Pikachu. Pika, Pika.